Good evening, everybody. I say good evening because it's in the UK, it's in the evening. If you're in the rest of the world, I don't know what the time is. But hello and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about films. I'm your host this evening, not George Lucas. And with me, as always, first of all, is Drunken Yoda.
Hello.
Sean.
Sin Chow.
And joining us tonight is Eggy Weggy.
Word up.
Excellent. Well, we are all down with the kids, homies. How is everybody?
That was worse than your mom trying to be cool.
How do you do, fellow young Outpost streamers?
Yes. Righto. So yes. Well, I'm glad I asked how everybody is because obviously nobody answered. So this evening we are going to be eventually talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once, which we have all seen, and I think we've got slightly different conflicting views on, which will be interesting. But let's talk about the news first of all. So
George, I want people to know that that's a movie title, even though that accurately describes most of our streams.
To be fair, what we get in 2 hours is pretty impressive. But yes, the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
By the end of it, it's like, but what about Ukraine?
What about Ukraine? So let's start off. Let's start off with this week in the news. We had a teaser for Predator: Prey. Now, what did everybody make of that? This is the prequel to Predator.
Lame and gay.
Okie doke.
As to be expected, it's going to be crap.
I did like the comments on the last movie Outpost saying that the Predator doesn't stand a chance against a young teenage girl who has got a bow and arrow and a plucky attitude. Obviously.
And ovaries.
And
right.
Ovaries, exactly. Well, did you just assume her gender?
I was going to say, you bigger.
Well, the description of the movie gives us the gender, so I think I'm safe on that.
Well, I think I correctly identified that Nauru is Comanche for stunning and brave.
But yes, again, it's going to be one of these films of another. Everybody keeps, we constantly go on about these, how they keep churning out the same thing. This is another Predator movie. But
wait a minute, I thought it was going to be is it a theatrical release? I thought it was going to be like a straight to
audio. Coming soon on 8-track.
Straight to the garbage bin.
Welcome to the Predator podcast. Boy, we got an audio treat for you.
But no, yeah, it's getting a theatrical release, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I think it's coming on Hulu or something.
Yeah, no, I think it's like Amazon Plus or something like Apple
Apologies,
TV.
Yeah, I did say Hulu.
It's coming on. Not gonna watch it, so.
Again, my sick and twisted evil mind says, go on, watch it. It'll be bad. And so I will watch it when it comes out, but I am expecting as much as I expect from any other Hollywood movie. Very little.
Do you think
wait till they reveal that it's a female Predator?
Do you think Predator is like a one and done? Like it just, like we keep... I mean, it was a great movie. The first movie was great. Yeah. Legitimately great movie. But after that, it's like, what more can you do with this that isn't already... I mean, it doesn't... Even Predator 2, which I kind of enjoy with Glover, it doesn't do anything new or anything. It's just at least gory and fun. City. Yeah.
I think they could have done they could have done 3 that was like that. It was the same story but set in a different location, and then that would have been great. Been done with it. Forget it. Like they could have done 1 and 2, and then maybe if they had a real budget, done like the Alien versus Predator crossover, or in the future maybe, or even in the past. And then because Dark Horse Comics did some pretty interesting stuff with it, like they had one set in World War One, but yeah, it probably is a one and done, unless you just want to make the same.
The big 3, Terminator, Predator, and Aliens were all. Terminator and Aliens were 2 and done, and Predator was 1 and done.
I've heard people say that Predator 2 is more like the Predator movie than the first one, and that's never made any sense to me. Yep, they're like, oh, it's even better. It's a better movie. It's more of a Predator story than one. I was like, how can that be? The first one set up the whole mythology and story.
The chicken is more like the egg than the egg.
Yeah.
What?
Because I mean, how many have they done now? Because there's been several in total, isn't there? Yeah, there's been quite a few.
Well, if you include the alien ones as well.
Yeah, because I was always under the impression, and where I got this from, I don't know, and I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but I was always under the impression that the aliens were created by the predators because they wanted something decent to hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what the film. I think that's what the film implied.
But then that's kind of really random. Because
I think Prometheus kind of rendered that not canon.
Yeah,
anymore,
I don't
as
think
if we give a shit about canon and the alien.
I don't.
Yeah.
The AVP movies aren't canon with the rest of the.
No. Well, they done Predators, which I actually thought wasn't too bad.
I like Predators. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Predators was okay because I think it just went back to the original
jungle fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep meaning to watch that. I just never get around to it. I don't know why.
It's all right.
I've heard great. Yeah, I've heard it's decent.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good Predator movie, and I just keep thinking, I need to watch that. And I just, if I end up, having a Predator, a hankering for Predator, I go back to the Arnie one. So,
Well, you never get tired of it.
No,
exactly. Like I say, I've seen it several times, and like you say, you don't because it's just it's just pure action, and it's dead simple, and there's nothing complicated in it, and there's no kind of love triangle and all this kind of stuff. It is just literally a bunch of guys versus a deadly alien. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other hidden deep subtext, or there's no political message in there or anything else. It is just.
There is now.
That's because people read too much into things.
And then the Predator at the end apologized, handed his weapon to the Native American, and went to hunt white people.
No, yeah. I mean,
I think
the
girl will end up becoming part of the tribe and leading them. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, and I'm calling that it's a female Predator. It'll take his mask off and have lipstick on or something.
No. She has to defeat
the
lashes.
Blushes. She'll defeat. No, she has to defeat the toxic masculine predator.
I mean, I don't know.
Mouths, how ironic.
I was just going to say, Aggie made a point there that they look like women. From the waist down, they do. Their faces.
With their fishnet stockings as well.
But again, it's going to be one of those films that has unfortunately been written in the last few years, and so it's going to be woke.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what they've done is obviously they've realised that Arnold defeated the Predator in the first one by nothing more than his own wits and natural made weapons, rather than machine guns. Yeah, so they've obviously gone, we could do that. We could use a woman. But what they're missing the point, in fact, is it was decades worth of military training.
Yeah,
managed to, and obviously, his brute strength. I mean, he lifted up that massive bloody tree trunk.
Yeah,
that initially fell and killed the Predator at the end anyway. So I don't know how this 7-stone Indian girl's going to be able to do anything impressive.
Well, 20 years ago, before all this nonsense, this political nonsense started, if they'd said we're going to do something a little different, we're going to drop a Predator into the 1700s or 1600s. And have them hunt some Native Americans and see how they deal with it. I probably would have been, that's an interesting take. And now, so I mean, like that's the problem with all this. It's like the concept, if you just go from the concept, it's not a bad idea. It really isn't. It's but we know what is going to happen. We know how they're going to frame all this. And that's the part which gets me so irritated. It's like, you might have an actual good concept here and you're going to ruin it. Because you can't get your present day politics out of it
before we even start, before the movies even come out.
So I'm completely bitter against it, and I haven't even seen the stupid thing.
The original Dark Horse Comics Alien versus Predator comic, I've always said that was the perfect story for both, and the main character in that is a Japanese woman, and it nothing about it are you like oh god, it's done so well. And why they just haven't adapted that, which they kind of did with that first AVB. They ruined it, but it was in the comic. It's set in the same future world as aliens.
Adapt anything.
Yeah,
a book or a novel or a comic. They never really faithfully adapt.
You just said there about a predator in World War One. That actually sounds interesting.
Yeah. That was a good story. It was a good story, yeah. Because it was like Roman. It was Roman no man's land and taken out,
The problem is obviously with No Man's Land and World War One, it would all be males, and so obviously they can't make that now.
Well, unless they do a crossover with Wonder Woman, there's an idea. I might go and pitch that to them. Predator versus Wonder Woman in World War.
Warner Brothers, I'm sure they'll approve. But to go completely from the point then and moving on from Prey, something which is not woke, and it is something that gives us all in this modern day society that we're not going to have to sort of sit through that whole pandering of femalism, is She-Hulk. So the trailer came out this week. You can see it on the lastmovieoutpost.com. So what did we make of that? Is everybody excited?
Yeah.
I don't know. The CGI is obviously the standout criticism. It just looks awful. If you watch the trailer, I took some screen grabs, and it's just the CGI looks like it's been done by some kid.
I'm willing to hold off on overt criticism of CGI because they're going to be tweaking that right up until it gets released. So,
it's more than tweaking, man.
You'd be surprised how little or how much it would take to make something look better or worse. But I'm kind of like, I'll wait for the final product. And as far as the CGI goes, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I like She-Hulk as a character. It's not that I wouldn't want to see a live action She-Hulk if it was, I don't know. Like, I love John Byrne's fourth wall thing that he did way back when, before Deadpool was doing it. It was in a mainstream comic where you had a mainstream character that's clearly a part of the universe, but is breaking the fourth wall all the time. And that idea was kind of fun to me. The original She-Hulk, she was just kind of like Girl Hulk, but she didn't lose her mind, so that is like, okay, well, you're not as interesting because that's what makes Hulk interesting, is that he's a monster that's misunderstood, right? He tends to do the right thing, but everybody's always after him, and he's always like a little child out of control of his rage. She-Hulk was always basically the same person, whether she was Hulk or Jennifer Walters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to mine there. Again, the MCU, and just from what I saw, I mean, she's on Tinder, and she's carrying off a guy, and I'm like, okay. They're not,
you can't get through your head what the writers. Obviously, there's a team of writers that somebody brings forward a story, and then they all sit around the table. That there's a group of people somewhere who thought this was a good idea, and it got greenlit. Greenlit. There's a little Hulk joke there.
There you go. Has anyone seen any of the MCU shows though? I've not watched any. I actually watched.
Yeah,
I gave up on Hawkeye, and I gave up on Moon Knight. I think I gave up on Loki as well.
I didn't hate Hawkeye. I disappointed in WandaVision's end, but at least they went full villain with her, so I kind of appreciate that. Loki was there. That's about the best I could say. The Falcon and Winter Soldier was completely insufferable. It is by far the worst of all of them. And Hawkeye, I thought was okay. It was kind of
the whole opening of Loki, when they had the Infinity Stones like hidden in a drawer or something, kind of made the whole Thanos and Black Widow dying and everything else just completely pointless.
Yeah, So, having read enough comic books in all my life, because I'm a grown-up baby,
nerd.
Yeah. They always have these big events, and then in order to escalate, it's not uncommon for them to pussify the last thing, like it's not that big a deal anymore or whatever. I don't think that's like the MCU, like they have a market on that. That's been in comics forever, because you got 100 years, 75 years of comics sometimes. I mean, they keep having to one up. And I don't know how many more crises that DC can have, but I mean, they split and reformed the multiverse like 75 times now. And it's like, okay, whatever.
We haven't seen the Flash yet, it looks like Ezra Miller's going to be replaced halfway through the film. We shot a load of scenes with him, but then he's gone through the multiverse and he's come out as someone else.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do like The Crow, where the guy died and they have to CG him for arrest, not because he died, just because he's in jail and they can't get him to do any reshoots.
The second half of the movie, the Flash was just running everywhere and you couldn't really see his face. It was weird.
He's running because he dropped the soap in the shower.
He done that. He dropped that on purpose.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. He's running because somebody else dropped some soap in the shower.
That's more like it.
Honest to God, that guy needs help. That guy needs. I mean, nobody can be this out of it. I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if he's got mental issues or what's going on with him. But his behavior is beyond just a dick. He's bizarre. And I'm like, somebody's got to keep an eye on him. Something's going to happen.
Fame, I think, affects people in different ways and how it's kind of thrust upon them. I mean, I've always sort of said about bands whether you like them or not, like U2, for example. They've been to the pubs and clubs and they've had bottles thrown at them and all this kind of stuff, and they've worked their way up to their fame, and they seem to deal with it. Apart from Bono, who's obviously batshit crazy, but maybe it's not a good example. But then other people like what's his name, Justin Bieber, was sort of discovered on YouTube and suddenly became an international superstar. And again, he just went nuts because you haven't earned that fame and fortune and everything else. You haven't been through all the sort of difficult stages that it takes to get up to there. But bands like Kid. Oh, go on.
I'm sorry. It's the kind of personality that craves being famous. There's something already wrong with them. And so when they get that fame, it's just it just comes out. It's exposed. You just see more of.
I'm in therapy, man. I'm working it out. Right?
Not everything's about you.
Oh, I don't know. Did you see his last video where he's actually now
actually a good
himself?
Yeah, it's actually a really good comeback to that. Actually,
the best thing that can happen to Ezra Miller is someone give him a smack in the mouth.
Yeah,
that's the best lesson in life that guy will ever receive. So,
I think he's gotten them, and then he gets arrested, and he gets smacked around. He's not learning shit, so I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it's his fetish.
I get what you're saying. Just, I don't know.
That's not the way, because then he becomes the victim.
I think you mean they become the victim. Actually, he's binary, whatever it is.
Sorry, I do apologise to Ezra if he's watching.
One day,
if they are watching, Jesus,
yes,
they are watching
from their prison cell in Hawaii. We're sorry.
In the non-gender specific holding cell.
Is he out? Is he arraigned? Is he?
I don't know if he's come out, but he's definitely by. Hey-oh.
Yeah. No, I mean, legally. Like, is he still incarcerated?
I don't. Probably.
Well, we haven't seen him in
the Somebody's got him locked up somewhere to keep him from hurting himself.
We'll know as soon as he gets arrested again.
Next week.
Yeah.
I've already got the article written. I've just got to change the dates.
I can literally see him. So, back out into the Hawaii streets, and then he's arrested again. Dude, it was like 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
He walks out the door, stretches, kicks a dog, spits on an old woman.
So, coming back to the Flash. To the Flash and then back to She-Hulk. That's how we veered off. So with She-Hulk then. So I mean, it's not out till August, so there may be time for them to fix some of the CG and stuff. But a lot of people, the comments I read on Twitter and stuff have been quite amusing, because people have been saying about how incredibly woke it is, and then people have been saying this was written in the 1980s originally, and it's kind of no, the character was created in the 1980s. This has been written now. Okay. So they haven't taken one of the old comics and brought that to life. They've written this now for today's audience.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I look at like even if we say, because you say, is it woke? Probably. I'm not seeing like one particular thing that's amazingly woke, but it's like just the dialogue is just bizarre. Like when she says, "Oh, I'm a woman. We're pretty much always angry and scared."
Yeah.
It's like, really? Is that what women are? I feel like they're more than that. And then she's like, superheroes are only for billionaires and orphans, grown-up orphans."
Yeah.
I like who talks like
Who
that.
is she talking about? Yeah, and who is she talking about, really? Because, you've got like quite a few of the characters who don't fit that criteria. Captain America, for starters. I mean, well, okay, maybe he's an orphan, but I mean, he's not. It just, none of it makes sense.
You think of orphans, you're thinking of like little girls with red hair and a brown dog next to them, with no pupils. It's not grown up, adults. We don't call adults orphans in general. I don't know.
No.
I mean, again,
Spider-Man,
Eggy
I guess.
Eggy and I talked about this a little bit. It's like this dialogue that's supposed to sound clever, but if you put any thought into it all, it makes zero sense.
It's clever for Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. It's Twitter dialogue.
I was going to make a point then. I completely forgot what it was. I knew I was going to do that. I got a head like a.
I got one. I got one news bit.
On.
I'm curious of what your guys' reaction was. Did you hear about Netflix basically laying off all their troublemakers?
Yeah,
I'll be nice. Troublemakers.
Yes. Yeah, that was quite interesting, wasn't it? I think a story's going to be probably popping up in the next week or so. But basically, Netflix have been. Obviously, they've had the whole issue with Dave Chappelle, who has been making hilarious comedy, as it used to be known. But then there have been people that have been kicking off stink about it and saying about how homophobic and transphobic and every other kind of phobic he is. And with it, some of the staff have actually been quite vocal about it. But it turns out that may not be good for them.
Well, I mean, money ends up talking, doesn't it? And their stock price tanked like a son of a gun, and they've lost all these IPs, and Dave Chappelle is one of their big draws. So, either we get rid of Dave Chappelle and we end up not being a streaming service anymore, or we get rid of these people that are not doing anything for anybody, or especially for Netflix.
I mean, when you think about it as well, I can't imagine that let's say the troublemakers, it's literally going to be a handful of people, literally sort of, in why do you shake your head at that, Yoda?
No, I agree.
Oh, right.
I agree. Yeah.
I think
Go on, Eggy.
Sorry, I thought it was like over 150 people that have been told.
Yeah,
to
one
clear off.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people work for Netflix? What I mean is a handful. I mean, you've got thousands of people that probably work for Netflix. I mean, it's literally a handful. And it's not like they fired them. They've literally kind of said to them, if you don't like this and you don't like the policies, there's the door. So it's kind of, if you want to stick to your principles and you fight for all these, different people and everything else, then you stand by your guns and you walk out the door and get another job. And I do then wonder how many people have gone, wow, yeah, Dave Chappelle does make a point about the trans and stuff. Yeah, doesn't he? Sort of like, and
you
just
don't have to agree with
it.
You could say Dave Chappelle's a piece, but he's bringing in the money, and so I have to. This is my job,
Yeah.
And that's if you don't. I think what Netflix says, like, if you don't agree with what we're putting on here and you can't handle it, then there's not a place for you to work. Seems fair to me.
In kind of every job, in every avenue of business, there's a job that some part of it you don't like, and yet you still have to do it. And so it's kind of the same principle here, I suppose. That, like you say, you may not like Dave Chappelle's jokes, but that's kind of, if you're working for Netflix, it's kind of tough. You're just going to have to suck it up.
Well, it used to be George Carlin would say, if you don't like it, turn it off. That was the thing. You don't like it, turn it off. You don't have to watch it. Nobody's forcing you to watch it. Now it's like, I won't watch it, and I will make sure nobody else can watch it either.
Yeah.
That to me is the stuff I was speaking out against, the churches back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, why are you following that? Did you learn no lessons from that?
Yeah, it's completely for somebody to be offended by something is one thing, and like you say, if you're offended by it, then be offended. It doesn't mean you have to stop other people enjoying it if they find it funny or entertaining. it's completely and utterly unfair that people nowadays, it just seems to be that people are cancelled or fired or whatever it is just because somebody shouts, "Oh, I'm offended," and it is kind of
maybe not anymore.
Exactly.
Maybe not. I mean, maybe this is a turnaround.
Yeah, maybe the bubble is starting to slowly burst on this.
Do you guys?
I think it's quickly bursting, mate. I think a lot's happening really quickly.
I agree. Do you guys think that this will save Netflix long term, though?
No.
It's the content. There's nothing on there to watch. You sometimes sit.
Yeah.
You put it on and you're like, "What?" I watched that Love, Death and Robots. That's about the only thing I've watched on it for weeks.
Yeah, I watched that too, and I watch Cobra Kai. And then maybe I'll like Dave Chappelle's last one wasn't good. It wasn't nearly as good as Sticks and Stones. So,
Stranger Things. You got Black Mirror on there now as well. I don't know. They've got some decent stuff on there. I would say.
So long. I mean, when's the last Black Mirror season?
No, there's another one due out soon.
It's been a while. I know COVID. I know COVID spread these things out. But
just as a FYI, I wanted you guys to know that we've hit 25 people viewing us.
Holy crap!
Oh, hello!
Wow!
Hello.
So what were you saying about being famous? Let me go put on my gold Rolex. I'll be right back.
This is the wrong fruit basket in my trailer.
Yours says Rolex. Mine says Rolex.
Rolex.
I want a bowl of M&Ms, but only red.
Get me those plaid M&Ms now, but they don't. I said now. Okay, I was just curious. I don't want to go on and on about that. I was just curious what Netflix's future is in general, because they seem like they don't have any real IPs. I think they're doing a course correction. I just don't know if it's quick enough.
I think the problem is Netflix had literally sort of 100% of the streaming services for a time, and now you have got so many other companies that are producing stuff. I mean, Disney Plus, say what you will about them, they are producing a hell of a lot of stuff, which is in competition with it. And so I think at first they were sort of sitting back and sort of saying, "Ha, look at all this money we're raking in," and now they are thinking to themselves, "What can we do to make sure the business keeps going and we keep subscribers up?" That quite recently in the last quarter that they said it's the first time they've lost subscribers. That they've not
200,000.
Or something. And
we have to remember, people are tightening the belts as well, though, George. Like, it's not just the stuff.
The economy is killing them too. Yeah, that's another.
We've got it over here.
Disney Plus
prices are rising.
Yeah, Disney Plus lost subscribers. Now I don't know how much of that is the whole Florida thing, or, I mean, are people getting burnt out on MCU, Star Wars, all that kind of stuff? I mean, they've got kind of like these big IPs, but they don't seem to know what to do with them. And they're ticking off all the hardcore fans, so those guys are leaving. I canceled my Disney Plus. And
me too.
I don't know.
It's going to be an interesting next 12 months to see what happens. I mean, like we said, like with Disney Plus, they've got it next week, isn't it? It's going to be the new Obi-Wan show. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what they've done with that, and have they kept going with the woke? Have they kept just trying to supplicate the fans? I mean, all the stuff I've seen about it.
George, wait, George. I just want to let Kurt J52 in the chat know that Joe Biden got completely 100% legitimate 81 million votes, most popular president in history. He's trying to imply something that's disinformation.
We disavow that, because
the
guy's over there with a gun next to us going, "Keep talking."
Don't mention 2,000 mules.
There's not here. I don't even know who Joe Biden is. So
good move.
I wish I didn't.
I'm proud of Boris. So wait, no, I'm not.
He's still voting for Margaret Thatcher, he said.
God damn it, George! This is stuff we were supposed to start talking about.
Yeah, we've seen
indeed. So back on to what were we talking about now?
Well, you're talking about Kenobi.
Yeah. So all I've seen for the press stuff is for Kenobi is Hayden Christensen's back, and it's got Ewan McGregor in it, and it's kind of, I keep thinking that they keep focusing on these two particular actors, and nobody's sort of saying, "Oh, the story's really good though," and everything else. It's literally just, yeah, but Obi-Wan, you love Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor, he's great. You love you love Ewan McGregor, and it's kind of, yeah, I do like Ewan McGregor, but I would like to see a good show. Well, yeah, but Ewan McGregor's in it, and I didn't. I'm already worried. I'm not expecting much.
Ewan McGregor's in the
bad things.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ewan McGregor was in that Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie. It didn't exactly help it.
I was trying to think. I was sitting here trying to think of a movie that he was in that I actually could say like, "Oh, I really like that movie."
Trainspotting. Oh man, Trainspotting's great.
Oh yeah, Trainspotting. That's a classic.
You see his real lightsaber in it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I was at the pub last night, and I was with there was probably about nearly a dozen of us, and everyone was just talking about Kenobi for about an hour.
Ugh.
That's sad.
You
are a bunch of sad fucks.
Even I think
you're sitting about talking.
I was saying, don't get too excited.
No, but I mean, honestly, there is nothing exciting about that show. I will try it, but there is just zero about it. I mean, it might. I keep living in this horrible, like, bubble where I keep thinking to myself, it might actually be good. It might actually be good, and it's kind of like I've been hurt so many times before that I just don't go in with anything too strong. Trainspotting 2, that's another good one. Because again, that was a decent sequel.
I need to watch that one. I keep putting it on my list. Same with Predators. It's just. Yeah, we all have those list of movies that we say, I got to watch this, and you just never get around to it. Okay.
Trainspotting just runs at a loop in English pubs. Yeah, pretty much.
That's why it's so good.
I thought it was 1964 Zulu that played nonstop.
Do you want to see my impression of Michael Caine in Zulu?
Yes, please.
Oi, stop chucking them bloody spears.
Well done.
It was like he had the film on. And just by the way, Magic, they're Scottish pubs, not English.
What's the difference? The difference?
A lot.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize.
Right. Let's not go there.
What are you trying to do, Sean? What are you trying to start here?
Scotsman would not appreciate being called English.
In Trainspotting, when it says the worst toilet in Scotland, that's just a regular toilet in England.
Well, these guys got to paint half his face blue, start screaming at you. Don't do that, man.
If you've never seen Zulu, XCR Gaming, it's worth a watch. It is very good.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's a classic.
George likes it because a lot of black people get killed.
Oh, disappointing.
30 viewers here. Best behavior, guys.
Oh yeah.
Let's get on to our main theme then of talking about everything, everywhere, all at once. So billions of years ago, the universe was created. No, sorry. We're going to be talking about the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, produced by A24, which is a company that I am a huge fan of. They have just broken box office records, and it is now the biggest box office movie that A24 have produced.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's just literally, I think the news only came on today, but it's the biggest movie they've produced. It stars Michelle Yeoh, even. Oh, bloody hell.
Whoa. Disavow already.
I can't remember his name, but Short Round from Indiana Jones.
Hugh Quan.
There we go. As well as James Hong and Jamie Lee Curtis. Brain fart there. The movie is directed by, I just remember them as the Daniels, and the same guys who directed Swiss Army Man, which is, again, I think
I like that one. Yeah.
It's a very, very good film if you haven't had the chance to see it. This movie, I mean, who wants to try and sum it up?
I've already done a whole thing on it, so I did my best to try to explain it.
YouTube channel, you can see Yoda trying to explain it. I mean, the main crux of the movie is a an Asian immigrant family working a laundromat in America, and they need to just sort of pay their taxes and live their lives. But it turns out the mother, Evelyn, is the key to a multiverse and to saving everyone in it.
It's gonna be hard not to spoil it, so you might as well talk spoilers about it. You can't really describe the plot at all without kind of spoiling the.
No, you can't really describe the plot at all.
That's true too.
I mean, I saw the trailer and I was quite looking forward to it. Thank you. Is it Sakura who's just said an amazing movie? I was the same when I watched it. I was, properly blown away at what I watched. There is a movie which is incredibly well done. It's a very good story. Michelle Yeoh carries the film so well as a character that you follow her through. It's I was blown away. I kind of said it's probably going to be my top movie of 2022 unless something pretty spectacular comes out later in the year. Because I absolutely loved it. I've only seen it the once, but I need to see it again because I took so much away from it. Now, let's start with Yoda, because now you agreed with me, didn't you?
I said it was hands down the best movie of 2022, and I think it's probably the best movie I've seen in 5 years. I can't think of no shit. I am just absolutely. I was watching it, like I've watched fight scenes and that kind of thing before, but I was literally laughing or reacting surprised at some of the things that were happening in this movie. And when they say everything everywhere all at once, it's not just, the idea of multiverses and things like that. It's like you pick the tone and it's there. If you want farcical, funny, it's there. If you want drama, it's there. If you want science fiction, it's there. If you want, indie, old school, all the things that I mentioned that were in the movie. If you want Ratatouille, it's in there.
If you want hot dogs for fingers.
If you want hot dogs for fingers. But how this thing is not a complete and utter mess. And not only is it not a mess, it is actually superb. And how I was having emotions. It was wonderful. I was feeling things, and it was so well done. I couldn't get over how much I was I figured, okay, I'm going to start this, see how it is. Probably another. And I couldn't stop watching. I just could not stop watching it. It was.
Did you cry a little?
Good. Did you? I might squirted a tear here and there. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I really was just fully invested in all these characters. And yes, Michelle Yeoh did a fantastic job, but she was always her, even though she was in these different areas. She was always that
Evelyn.
Whereas I think we're not giving enough credit to Quan because he had to play all these different characters. It was him, but it was a different hymns, right? And he had to switch it on and off from kind of the befuddled husband to...
I love those little transformations he would go through as well.
Or when he's in the glasses that he had never gotten together with her. And yet, at his core, he's always this really decent, optimistic guy. But
he's the real hero of the movie.
In some ways, he is. Yeah, I agree. He is. And it's pretty amazing how they make it all come together. And you get all the symbolism of a mother and a daughter, trying to reconcile through all the crazy, giant bagel, everything in the world is on a bagel thing. But you also just have them in this one universe just try to deal with their problems alongside it. How it all works, I don't know, but it all works. I cannot recommend this movie enough.
Okay, so Sean, we got talking about it briefly the other day, but what was your take on it?
I thought it was a 3 out of 5 movie.
Do you want to turn him off then, Yoda?
Yeah. There's always people that are wrong. You just have to deal with them, George.
It is very creative. It's technically well done. I think, I had some kind of, I won't say problems with it, but see, now I wished I hadn't said all that stuff about it and ruined it earlier. Now I don't remember what I said, but I think that Short Round is the actual hero of the movie. He's more compelling to me than anything that goes on between the mother and the daughter. I don't know. It was like somebody watched Rick and Morty and said, "Oh man, we got to do this. We got to do this." So there was a lot of, and they didn't quite take it far enough to me. Like they could have done it. They should have done it like if they're going to rip off Rick and Morty, they should have took it all the way. Like absurdity. And then we get this focus of like, oh, it's Daddy he let me go, but I'm mad, and I don't know. It was very.
But that was only kind of one universe that happened in, whereas other universes, she obviously went on to be successful because she listened to her dad.
Yeah, but the main, the
main Evelyn,
the main story.
Also, her dad is a mecha, which is also cool.
Oh yeah, exactly. At one point,
he is low paying.
Yeah.
But now I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry, no, that's my fault. You were basically saying about how it was about the mother and the daughter dealing with each other, and then the mother and the father are dealing, the mum and the dad dealing with themselves.
Yeah, I thought that the mother and daughter are very selfish, and I thought it was a little bit of a cliched. The daughter, oh, I'm gay, and Grandpa won't accept me, and woe is me. I can't find myself, so I'm going to act like all doomers and destroy the entire spoilers
with a giant bagel.
Yeah. Just listen. It's not. The movie's very original. I'll put it. I can sum it up in one sentence. It's very original. I can't fault anything about it being made, but there was a few times in it I kind of caught myself kind of wanting to like 1.5 times through some scenes to get it going, and that's not a good sign for me. I was like, I was tempted because I was like, come on. The fight scenes, I thought I was sold on it from the trailer, like, oh, look at all this, it's going to have this crazy kung fu sighting, but we're going to have all this stuff, and it didn't really deliver on that. There was a very little bit of that. There was some great comedy.
I must admit, I was a little disappointed with the lack of kung fu. There was one great scene with the bum bag, or fanny pack as you guys call it. But I mean, apart from that, I thought there was going to be more of Michelle Yeoh doing a bit more of the kung fu.
Yeah, you got like one of
she did rip out the dildos out of those two guys' asses.
You got the probably one of the world's premier female kung fu actresses, and we get almost nothing from that. And I don't know, man. And it was. I don't know. I'm very mixed on it. I think to me personally, it was a 3 out of 5. It's not the best movie year. It would not even at this point in the year. It would not even make my top 5 list at all.
Fair enough. I mean, like I say, for me, the originality of it was. I said it was kind of the most original thing I'd seen since The Matrix. I can't think of anything that I'd seen that was that creative.
But it's a mashup of several. But it's not really. It's a Tarantino chop suey kind of. Like there's a lot of ideals in it from the Rick and Morty stuff. There is Matrix stuff in it. There's even like Marvel. It's not that original. They just blended some stuff together in an entertaining way.
I mean, I suppose, like I say, where we are in the world creatively, it is difficult not to then compare it with stuff. But like I say, I found I couldn't compare it to anything at all. And then, scraping the bottom of the barrel, Eggy, you said you gave it 2 out of 5 stars.
No, I said 3.5. I think that was just my fat fingers before you read it before I could edit it.
All right.
I'm pretty much with Sean on this. I just thought it was a bit of it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was very original in parts. But I just towards the end of it, I was like, this is just getting a bit too much now.
It got monotonous towards the end, didn't it? I thought.
Yeah, I was just like, if I'm watching a film and I feel an urge to pick my phone up, then I know I'm on a loser. And I just towards the last, I don't know, maybe half an hour, I was just like, well, okay. See where this is going.
Well,
I wanted to love it because I thought the trailer looked fantastic.
Same.
And the first hour, I was laughing my head off. I thought, wow, this is pretty special. This is good. And then it just petered off. And just when I was watching it, I felt like it was like a group of group of friends had got together at a pub and got pissed up and gone, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if we did this?" And they've just tried and put it all in.
The tonal shifts are rough. I'll give you that, but I like it because of that. And so either you like that kind of tonal shift, if they work. It's pretty rare that they work, and I thought they worked in this one.
Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of very similar to The Fifth Element, where it was just a little bit crazy.
That is a good. Yeah, I see.
That's. Yeah, I sort of stand partly correctly with that. That, like I say, the creativity of The Fifth Element was good because it was so original and it was so out there, and there was so many different, like you say, tones and everything to it. And like I say, that's what I got from this. Like Yoda said, that I think the way the directors had put it together, I just found that the story was so compelling that you wanted to see where it was going to end up. It was great.
I'd lost interest.
Yeah, I just kept thinking, it's like I would have rather followed that story from the point of view of Short Round. I mean, he like I said, he says some of the most deepest, stuff in the movie. He's got the best lines in the movie that apply to life.
Well, yeah, but he's the guy that's got things figured out. I mean, he's not the guy that needs an arc as much because he's really got life figured out. And I mean, I kind of like Evelyn. You said, "Oh, mommy doesn't accept me." It's like, yeah, I accept you, but I'm still going to criticize you on all this. She wasn't going to give up telling her daughter that when she sees things wrong, she's going to tell her, which I really appreciated there at the end. Like she's like, "Okay, I don't like this. You need to cut your hair and everything, but." We're all a family, and that's what we do. We all bitch at each other, but we all love each other. And I'm like going, that's more honest to me than a weepy, I accept you for everything, and I'll never criticize again. Yeah, horse shit,
Yeah. Again, that's kind of one of the things of, I mean, I don't want to say like romantic comedies and stuff like that, but you do get certain movies where you know what is going to happen at the end. Whereas, and like
wait a minute, there was no doubt about how that movie was going to end.
I disagree. I didn't know how it was going to go.
For real?
I genuinely didn't know if she was going to end up in the bagel or not, or whatever. If you haven't seen it,
it didn't end in the same universe it started.
It was obvious where it was going.
The Evelyn we started out with is not quite the Evelyn we ended up with.
And also the fact that I like the fact that she introduced like everybody who was attacking her at the end. She fixed their problems.
That was a nice little touch.
That was nice. Yeah, that was all right. I mean, I'm not saying the movie was dog shit. I'm just saying. It's not.
But you hated it. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I mean, I did not regret my time spent watching it, but there was times I was wanting to be like Eggy. I was like, wanted to pick up the phone or was like, okay, come on, let's go here,
I can see people having trouble with this because it's definitely not it's not a regular movie, and its narrative and its tonal shifts are all over the board. I mean, the original character you start out with, I mean, maybe her mind is in the new one. But she's like one universe over. The Evelyn that did go to the IRS, the Evelyn that didn't. The Evelyn that didn't is the one we end up with, fixing all her problems. I don't know. I just like all the weird. Like he eats a chapstick and he becomes super kung fu guy. Just weird shit. I love that stuff. Yeah. And then I loved.
It's when you saw the awards on Jamie Lee Curtis's desk.
Yeah,
I mean that was
you knew
the fight to keep something out of a guy's butt. I mean, this is bizarre, and I'm like, okay, this is great. This is amazing. I'm in.
It's when he jumped through the air and landed on it. Proper clinch up.
To me, it was the bit where they're both fighting. They're blurring the one guy out who's got no trousers on, and then they're both going through, and she just sort of manages to grab them both at the same time.
Yeah, takes away their power by yanking their butt plugs out. I'm like, what am I seeing here? I have no idea. I love it.
I mean, we haven't even mentioned the raccoon yet.
Oh God, the raccoon.
Yeah. See, that's talking raccoon. Where have we seen that before?
That was Ratatouille. Ratatouille.
Or Guardians.
Guardians.
I was just thinking, Yoda. Seriously, come on.
It's like I said, it's a really interesting mashup, but it's nothing in it is really that original. And I'm not saying that to shit. I'm just saying it's not this. Oh my God, there's never been anything like it. You know, it's fine. But it's like most of the ideas and some of that crazy stuff. There's a lot of Rick and Morty there.
It was a raccoon. It was totally original.
Well,
yeah,
no, I think Mark Hamill, like way back in the day, before we had all the prequels and everything. It was, I think, just after a 20th anniversary when the special editions come out. Of course, everybody's getting interviewed. And he said, and I think quite rightly, it's like, when Star Wars came out in 1977, it's like, yeah, we'd seen that before, but not like that. I feel like that describes this movie. Yeah, we've seen a lot of this before, but not like this.
I've never seen a story so complicated to explain but simple to understand before like that. The Matrix was kind of on that, that we are living in as batteries and it was a really complex story, but the story, like I say, I can't explain it. You can only literally explain the beginning part and say it's about the multiverse, but then when you watch the film, it just makes so much sense that every decision you make in life leads you somewhere.
Quantum leap.
I don't remember Sam Beckett shoving things up his butt.
I didn't.
No, yeah, in the new one he will.
One I downloaded did. It's funny, Eggy said about Short Round being the main sort of star of it. There was the one line. Yeah, sorry, Sean. The one line that I did really like is when he is with I think it's the singer, Evelyn, and he's in the suit and he says, in another life, I'd have just been happy, doing laundry with you and paying taxes. And again, it was...
But he wasn't, because he was going to divorce her. That's the kind of stuff you start peeling away. It's like, but would he?
He wasn't going to divorce her.
He wasn't going to divorce her. He just thought that would spur her to listen to him. He says in the movie that he didn't really intend to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're going as far as have legal paperwork drawn up, you're not just...
He explained that in the movie.
I know he did. I agree. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that that's what I love about it. Okay. So we're arguing about this point. I'm not saying you're wrong or I'm wrong. I'm saying that that's what I like about this movie is that we can argue about these kinds of points. You can see all these things from different points of view, everything, everywhere, all at once. And
funny enough, somebody said on the comments on the last movie Outpost, because I wrote the review for it, and somebody said that he didn't like the fact about how, like Sean said, about it was the mother and the daughter so much and everything else. But I took away from it. I saw that, but I took away from it how accepting the family has got to be of each other. That if you raise a kid and it decides to you want it to be a doctor, but it wants to be an engineer or whatever, obviously you've got to accept that. And that's what being part of family is. And so for me watching this, I kept thinking that everybody who watches this film is going to see something different from it. And how many other movies can you say that about? When you've seen a film, most people are sort of like, I went to see Alien and I was very scared all the way through it and it was great. Whereas nobody sort of came out of it and going, yeah, but I was kind of on the side of the alien. These humans were horrible and that kind of thing. Whereas this kind of film, it's going to provoke a response from everybody in different ways, in different lights.
So I guess the Rise of Skywalker was a success based on the amount of discussion about it.
Completely different. Right.
I was just messing.
I just thought the film was a bit.
But this was
what was the story of the film though? Because to me it was just like, be content with what you've got. It doesn't matter how shitty it was.
Kinda, yeah.
That was it. It's like the whole point was that Ralph's not happy and content with his family life and his failure.
I saw it a little differently than that. Yes, you should be content. You've made your bed. You've made your choices in life, and you should. These are what you have, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't work to make what you have the best it can be. You made your choice to be with your husband. Now stop bitching about it and make this marriage good because he's a good guy and you could make it a lot better for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And
don't just leave him. Don't just leave him because you're bitching about your laundromat, I guess.
Well, and the wife and the daughter were so wound up in their own, their own little thing that they couldn't even she couldn't even understand her husband, the fact that he acts, happy-go-lucky all the time because, that's his coping mechanism, basically. But she just blew everything off, both of them, the mother, daughter, both. They're just so centered their own little, internal world. They had... Oh, that was the whole thing,
But then again, she then started to see things from the different perspectives. And so because of that, was able to open up and understand different things. From the fact that, we were talking about it just sort of a second ago, but with the whole fact of with the decisions that you make, you can often think back to them and think, oh, I wish I'd done that. And I wish I'd done that. And hindsight is a wonderful thing, but it kind of doesn't change anything. Mm-hmm. Hindsight. You've just got to accept the choices that you've made in life and move forward from them.
Yeah, but then also there's nothing wrong with wanting something else or something a little bit better. At the end of the day, they've got a failing business. Yeah, the daughter's a lesbian who's moaning that she's fat as well. She's moaning that her granddad, she's on edge about telling her granddad that she's gay. And it's like at the end of it, after everything that she could do and achieve by going to different universes, it's just like, yeah, well, everything's not really that bad anyway.
Yeah, that really is, because he was the same guy. He wasn't in the, he didn't have access. He was just the main universe guy that through the whole thing, as far as he knew, these people were insane.
I just didn't see them. I saw them first of all, everybody has different lives in different universes. They made their choices. So, you're probably living that life. Because I think she still has the ability to see into all the universes. But be that as it may, it's like, this is the universe where I have made these certain choices. And instead of bitching about it, why don't I do what I can to make them better and to make them better for the people in my life? Because if you say, well, we're just going to do that, it's like, okay, then what's their next choice then? Just sell it? Leave each other? What's the solution to that? I like it. I don't know. It's not always so cut and dry as like, stay or quit, right? Sometimes it's like stay but make things better. Stay but quit making the wrong decisions. Quit but stay with this and that. Life isn't that simplistic.
Black and white. We didn't get out of it though. We just got. We got the fact that it was just like, well, okay, we're back to the IRS and try and work things out again.
But with a new attitude and a new take on life, and even the IRS lady had a better take on life when it was all said and done. It wasn't coming at them, so
that's because Sausage Fingers fell in love with her.
That's right.
Yeah. I love the fact as well that the way it was played out so. I don't want to say serious, but the moments that they had, the bit that killed me was near the end, whereas in the Hot Dog Fingers universe, they were playing the piano, and somebody said that the fact that she had Jamie Lee Curtis, had her wrist in a wrist lock or whatever it was, or some kind of pad.
It's called a brace.
Yeah, brace. Sorry,
let me help you out with the English language a little here.
It's late here, all right? Well, it's not, but that's my excuse. But in the Hot Dog universe, it was her foot that was in the brace. But the bit that got me was when...
That's right, I forgot
the bit that got me was when she said we had to use our feet for different things, and Jamie Lee Curtis is there, and the foot comes up and just strokes her face. It was brilliantly timed comedy to just sort of relieve that tension of sort of the stress really that Evelyn's going through, because she's got a failing business, she's got to pay her taxes, and then all of a sudden she is the center of a massive universe which needs saving for everybody to survive.
Honestly, George, I don't think that Eggy and Sean's take on this is necessarily wrong. I think that's why I like this movie so much, because I can understand them having that final take on it. I don't think that it's a incorrect take. I disagree that I took a different take, but that's why I think this is a really, really good movie, because I think you can see these different things, and I think it's rewatchable too. I'm definitely going to give it another watch. And
me too.
I think when you know what's coming, you might be able to see things a little bit differently. Well, I was going through this, what the hell is happening here? I really did not know in a lot of ways.
I'm sure I read a review somewhere that it said that the movie is much more appealing to intelligent people. I was going to try and do that with a straight face, and it didn't work.
Then why do you like it then?
Ooh,
that's exactly my point. You can listen to my accent and understand that I can speak. I'm quite intelligent. Go on,
listen, it wasn't a bad movie. I did enjoy it. It just petered off. I think I would have enjoyed it more if there was a happier ending, where maybe it skipped a year in front and the business was booming and I was a little bit more happy and a nice little round off like that, rather than just going back to the RAS.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's where you and I are different. I just didn't see it as an unhappy ending, but
yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I just thought it was back to where they started then. Just everyone smiling.
Wasn't unhappy ending, but I don't feel they made that much progress, honestly.
No.
I'm pretty sure
the two women didn't anyway.
Oh, really? I was going to say...
life is like that. Progress is made in baby steps, not giant epic moments.
I think that, but they made very incremental progress.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that I submit that the father is the actual hero of the movie.
He's the best person in the movie, but he's not the hero's journey guy.
He's the one that's been holding it all together.
That's what I mean. He's the best guy in the movie, but he doesn't have much. He doesn't really have an arc per se. A little one, but not like what Evelyn has.
I don't know. I don't agree, but that's okay.
I
can't.
I will say it makes Doctor Strange a hell of a lot worse.
I've still not seen that.
That is true. When you think of how Doctor Strange tried to embrace the multiverse, and it skimmed across it. But I think I said in my review that Everything Everywhere All at Once takes the multiverse, embraces it, marries it, and has children with it. It took what could have happened in Doctor Strange. I saw another review online about it, and they were saying about how the little montage moment in Doctor Strange where they go through these multiverses, you're kind of saying, no, wait, stop on that one, because I want to see what that one's all about. And it didn't do that. It literally just jumped universes.
I hate that when they give you a glimpse of something that they're never going to revisit again, but it has so much possibility.
Yeah.
And it fires off the imagination, and it was like, well, that's too good. They're never going to touch on that again.
Yeah. And so, like Yoda's just said, the fact that they embraced that multiverse, and it like I say, I think it's embarrassing for Marvel, really, that they made. Don't get me wrong, Doctor Strange was. I put it down as all right. I was kind of in the middle of the road on it. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. It was just all right. But this, as a multiverse thing, was on that kind of par, like as we said earlier, that I'm not comparing it to anything else, but like with Ricky and Morty, they embraced the multiverse unbelievably, and this did the same thing.
Yeah, it did get that right for sure.
Yeah,
I think I do have one nitpick question. Maybe you can answer, George. So the idea is that you can put your mind into different bodies, your body, but into different multiverses, right? So you're moving your mind, right? So how did he bring those little things that she puts on her ears?
I think what's his name? What's his name? The husband gave it to her, didn't he?
Yeah, but how did he get him there?
Yeah.
He's coming from the other universe and taking over the actual dad. How did he bring that stuff there?
Unless they made them here, unless they transferred their minds to.
Well, that's all we.
Counterparts here.
Maybe he built them. Maybe he built them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, maybe he built them. Because, funny enough, a point that I got out of that with those green things on the ears and stuff, that I don't know whether this was just a social commentary, but with those green things, people, when they activated them, they could become different people. And I kind of thought it's like how technology that we see, particularly online, how if somebody goes online, they might be the nicest person in the world, but when they go online and they get, that they're activated, they can become the most vicious, horrible troll and, rip people apart. Yeah, exactly. And I did.
That's the butt plug stuff.
Oh, I was going to say, no, the comments on Pornhub are always generally quite nice. Are they? I don't know. It's just a lucky guess.
That's only because they're donating to you, George.
But with it, to me, like I say, that was kind of a bit of a social commentary on how, like I say, when you become unplugged, you become yourself again. And it's like
it was kind of like that. Well,
they kind of get their memories, not really change. They don't change.
It was more than that. They would like get their skills, but they would also be simultaneously in both universes. Because sometimes you would be fighting, and then the person in the other universe would get knocked over. So I mean, it was really surreal in that part, which again I liked. I mean, that was because now you're talking about she has perceptions everywhere all at once. She's seeing what all her other selves are doing all at the same time, and I think it was crossing that threshold. That's what made her daughter and then her gods, for lack of a better term. And I mean, how can you not love it? They become rocks with googly eyes.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Another point I got from this, and this might have just been me, but I don't know whether you feel the same about this, and this is spoiler territory if you haven't seen it, but I thought that the bagel, to me, represented suicide.
Obviously.
Oh, sure it was. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. I didn't know whether I was being really insightful or really stupid then.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh,
Let me just stroke my beard and yes. No, because like I say, I mean, she didn't know obviously how to handle the situation of everything, and I kind of figured that the bagel was kind of.
It looks like a black hole. It looks like a black hole. You're going into death, going in. It has a very
depression into death.
Yeah, with the depression, it
wasn't very subtle.
I thought to myself that she was sat like in a bagel shop or in a cafe or whatever with a bagel, and she was sort of sat there putting all her problems on this physical bagel.
She did.
And again, that to me though was, I don't want to say like a brilliant revelation because obviously it's like really obvious now, but it was very well done in the way that it was told that, that some people do that, that it's kind of, I've got a problem and it's just my work. That's my problem. And it's like, maybe it's your attitude at work, that if you tried harder or if you were nicer to people, that it might actually work out for you and that kind of thing. But it's kind of, no, it's the work that's the problem. And you can fixate on the bagel. And if you actually look at everything else around you, you might actually sort of relieve a lot of the tension and anxiety you might have.
I've never more wanted to talk to a director and writer team and ask some questions about this movie, like this one. It's like, what did you mean about the bagel? Like, what? How'd you get that? Suicide? No, it's a black hole. What are you talking about?
Do you think they'll do a sequel?
I hope not.
I don't think so.
A24 doesn't strike me as a sequel, kind of.
No.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is the biggest one most successful film they've ever made. If it makes money.
No, do you know what though? I genuinely, I know this is a stupid thing to say, but I genuinely don't think A24 are about making money. I think genuinely A24 are a company that want to make movies and want to make films and want to make stories and want to let directors tell their stories. Just because it's hit number one, I genuinely don't think, A24 are obviously thinking, great, we got our money back, happy days, we can make more. But I genuinely think they are not, like when, we said earlier about Disney and everything else, Disney are churning out content because they've got to keep the fans and everything else. A24, I think, are filmmakers.
I can tell you guys. You're right. I can tell you guys, full disclosure, that my parent company, the company I work for, owns a sizable stake in A24.
Oh, no wonder you like the movie so much. No wonder he was shielding it so hard.
No wonder he sat there.
I wish I had that much pull that I could actually get it. Use my connections to get to A24 and maybe.
I'm not being funny. If he had a chance to interview the directors, would he be talking to us?
Yeah, no shit.
But Tell us about the time Michelle Yeoh was at your birthday party when you was a kid.
Well, you called me a sex pest? It's a Harry Knowles joke. Those of you guys who don't know Harry Knowles, it's a Harry Knowles joke. No, I'm just saying that my parent company, they have a lot of different companies underneath them. They're kind of like a Berkshire Hathaway, and some of them are loss leaders and things like that. So, they're not a media company like Disney. They have insurance companies. They have all these kinds of different companies. So, A24, I think they allow, or at least are not getting in the way of them just making movies that are going to be spot on, I mean, one thing you can say about you can't say that this is content. This is an actual movie. Somebody had something to say and they said it and they did it really, really well. And this isn't some machine like Disney turning out more MCU crap. And so I don't think that A24 would make a sequel to this because I don't think that I think they're an old school movie studio that wants to just make good film.
Although I would say, like I say, that's a really interesting question, Eggy, but I would say that if the Daniels, the directors, came to A24 and said, hey guys, we got a script, and it was on par with the first one, then maybe A24 would. I think, like I say, it's not just going to be a case of, hey, let's do another one. It would be a kind of, if you guys ever come up with anything that's going to be that creative again, we are happy to back you. But if not, we're not just going to push it for the sake of pushing it.
They won't push it for the sake of pushing it, but I think demand will be there. And this is, like I said, this has been their biggest success. That's probably going to put them on a lot of people's radar.
I don't think it's going to be.
You're going to get a sequel.
I don't think the demand is going. I don't think the demand is going to decide whether or not a sequel gets made. It's going to be whether or not. I think they're going to be a little like Pixar. Pixar. There was some demand from Disney for them to make a Toy Story 2. They were going to do it direct to video. And Pixar says, no, you're not going to do it that way. If we're going to do a Toy Story 2, we're going to do it our way. They ended up making a superior sequel. And Pixar, for a long time, that's how they worked, is that they made things that they thought, if they made a sequel, it was because they thought they had actually something to say.
What about Toy Story 4?
Cars 2.
Well, I would say in the last 5 to 6 years that it's not been the case.
Terrible.
I got bad news, guys. I was just checking my phone. Disney's bought A24. So.
Oh, goddamn it.
No! Sequel coming next week.
The new president,
no.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Spin-off TV series about the IRS worker.
How are they gonna gender swap and race swap the main character? That's gonna be rough. Poor old Disney.
Yeah, well, they don't have to, do they?
Oh, goodness. Oh, no.
The Chinese market, they've got the gay market.
Now, the prequel series will be how they built the laundromat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're going to get a sequel to this in 5 years. Maximum 5 years, you'll have a sequel.
Well, okay, look, whether or not there'll be a sequel or not, I think it's more along the lines as if there's a sequel, it will be because of creative reasons, not because of demand reasons.
Yeah.
I hope.
In the same respect, really.
I'm too cynical. I hope you're right, but I'm too cynical to believe that. I was
going to say, with something like Star Wars, I mean, that was a huge, obviously, hit. But then George had... came up with the 2 sequels, so it was a trilogy, which was fantastic and very well done. And so, again, it's not always about making the money, obviously, but at the same time, a lot of the times, like I put in my, not to bring us back to the YouTube channel, on my How to Make a Horror the other day, but I mean, there have been 9 Friday the 13th. There's been 9 of the...
Halloweens.
Yeah, there's 12 of the Halloween, 13 of the Halloweens, including this year. And Nightmare on Elm Street has had 9. One of the others has had like 10 or 11. And again, it's just content. It's like the people that I see on Twitter.
Yeah, but that's
the
a
new
different.
Scream's coming out, and it's like, right, what are you expecting in the new Scream? Because basically, it's going to be Ghostface going around stabbing people.
It's okay that. It's okay that that's content, though, because that is a formula that people like. It's just like, you watch a slasher movie like Friday the 13th because you get exactly what you want from that. That's a different.
That's true. I mean, and also you've got to remember that with a lot of these money spinners, they then do help, provide movies with other ways of making money. So I mean, when you make money, there are different ways of spending it, and obviously the bigger ones are the ones that we hear about. But I'm just glad that A24 are out there and just kind of not caring about content, but caring about filmmakers.
Didn't they make Old Henry? Isn't Old Henry from them? I think it is. I thought.
I don't know. It could be.
I think it is.
George is straight on the Google. Did they do that Men as well? The one that's coming out, Men.
Yeah, that's coming out soon.
That wasn't them. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't them.
Which one? Men.
There's
a new one coming out by Alex Garland. That's A24.
Yeah. Yes. No. There's that. But Old Henry, that was an A24. You say.
Hang on. Let's have a look.
Eggy, have you seen The Northman yet?
I'm going to watch it tonight, mate. It's sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, they did the Green Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got that on my list as well.
So
I'm going to watch Northman tonight, Sean.
Going to watch
The Lighthouse.
What'd you say, Eggy?
I'm going to watch Northman tonight.
Say it again.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Oh, okay.
It's all geared up. Mind you saying that, I did go to. Done a Star Trek video with Yoda yesterday, and then went straight to the pub because all the girls went out. And I went to the pub at 7:30 for a couple of quick ones and got in at 3:00. So I'll probably be asleep in an hour.
Because after you talk to me for 2.5 hours, you really need a drink.
What movie? Old Henry, I don't think was.
I don't know who did it.
I thought for some reason I was thinking that I saw their logo come up before it started when I was watching it, but I might be thinking of something else.
No, it must be something else. I mean, just going through the list of A24 movies here. There's I'm only going back to 2019 odd here. Climax, which was very bizarre. It's actually one of the films I couldn't get through because I think the director is very pretentious, but that's beside the point. I'm just trying to see the other. Midsommar, which I thought was very well done. The Lighthouse, which is fantastic.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems was A24's biggest, and Everything Everywhere is now just beating it.
I mean, if you can make Adam Sandler like competent and look talented, you're doing something right.
Saint Maud was very good. Green Knight, Lamb, which I've got to watch. I haven't watched yet.
Lamb, is that the babies? Like
I hear that one's a little
human.
I know, it sounds great. They've just recently done X as well, which
did what?
X is the one where they're going to make a porno in the thing of the two old people. I didn't rate that as much, and then they've got coming up God's Creatures, Funny Pages, Showing Up. So there's a few there actually. Oh no, the only one I do want to see coming out, well actually two of them or three of them saying that is Men, is Bodies, and then I really fancy Marcel with Shoes On.
So you want to see Men's Bodies?
Oh, sorry, that's from Google. Sorry. History.
They did Ex Machina. They did The Witch.
Oh, The Witch, yeah.
They did Green Room.
Green Room? Yeah. I didn't know they did. Oh, that's a masterpiece.
And they did Swiss Army Man, which is excellent. I mean, you know, when you look through here, and I'm not saying that not all these I'm that fond of or think they're that great. The Florida Project, there's a lot on here, but I can't say that any one of these movies are just, crap content. Every one of them are, they may be hits, they may be misses, but they are all film.
Unique.
Yeah.
They are not content.
I just want to talk about Green Room now for 30 minutes.
We're just going through my list of, I need to watch that.
Green Room. I've seen Green Room 3 or 4 times, and that's a great horror movie. That's a really well done horror movie.
Which is that one? Who's in it? It's Frodo.
Patrick Stewart. And no, not Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart's in that.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. No, I'm just trying to think.
Frodo was in it.
Anton Yelchin is in it.
Yelchin, that's it.
That is a fantastic.
It is fantastic, guys. If you haven't seen it, you are missing out on.
I know.
The director,
I know. You're right. I agree. I have heard nothing but awesome about it.
That director is a master, anyway.
Yes.
That dude has not made a bad movie yet. He's like the same guy. He's like, I put him on the same level as the dude that did Bone Tomahawk and Bronze Sailor and all that.
He's not made a. He did Blue Ruin, which was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Hold Back the Dark, which is on. You guys can watch that on Netflix.
Yeah,
Jeremy Saulnier is his name.
But yeah, Green Room it's like you say, it's a brilliant horror movie.
Brutal, thriller.
And it's so nice to see Patrick Stewart playing a role where he's
the bad guy.
Yeah, basically he's just kind of not Picard and not what he's not Xavier.
Professor X,
yeah, exactly. I mean, he was fantastic in that. He was really good.
That's when he was good.
Well, no, he still is. He's just picking crap out.
You've never seen Picard. He's not good.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he's just paying for his summer house.
Some of it, he just got old, like almost overnight. Like his voice.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I thought the Critical Drinker said that he at one point that he had a hand in the story of that he was really excited and he actually helped guide that story. So I don't think you should cut him any slack.
We're not.
Really?
We talked about that yesterday. You know, the reason why there was redneck off-roading in Star Trek Nemesis is because of Patrick Stewart, because that's really Picard's character, right? Shakespeare and redneck off-roading.
What's wrong with redneck off-roading?
Nothing. It's just not Jean-Luc Picard. That's all I'm saying.
Why are you attacking me?
I could see Kirk doing it before I would see Picard doing it.
Right, Sean, imagine you went redneck off-roading and somebody like me with my voice turned up, right?
There are people from England that come over here to ride this. They call it the Hatfield-McCoy Trail
Stewart
System.
Loves to do that kind of thing. Good for him. I'm not shitting on him. I'm saying that's not Picard, okay?
He's not shitting on him. He's shitting on redneck off-roading.
I am not shitting on redneck off-roading. I'm shitting on Patrick Stewart for taking his own shit and placing it on characters that doesn't belong.
For the record, I'm
do I
more
need
of
to
a hillbilly.
diagram this?
I'm more of a hillbilly, not a redneck, just for the record.
Redneck phobia.
Redneck phobic.
You know that the term redneck got started because of a group of people about 20 miles from me. They wore red handkerchiefs during this like Union revolt in the coal mines, and that's how they got that nickname. And it had been Logan, Mingo County, West Virginia, which is just literally almost throw a rock across the river into West Virginia. And
that sounds like it.
And that's right.
Yeah, I see. I always thought it was redneck because of working in the fields, but
I thought it's about. You're such a culturally bigoted person, George. You disappoint me every week almost.
Come on. Who is it who fought the Roundheads to free the proletariat from thingy in England? Oh, you don't know? Yes, because it's your history, not mine.
Excuses. Tired of your bigoted excuses. You know what? Ignorance of culture is no excuse for bigotry.
We were totally right to leave you over there and rot on your own filth.
Leave you over there.
And rot on your own
All I know is we threw tea in the harbor and Ewoks helped us defeat the Empire. So what's the problem here?
Actually, no, I do remember that bit now. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, Yoda.
We can all agree on that.
Right, so coming back to everything
God
everywhere.
Bless those patriotic little furry midget
That's
bastards.
Right. They go up like gasoline dipped cotton balls, but still. Gotta give credit.
It's when you light them and they run. It's beautiful.
That sounds like something a redcoat would say. An Ewok murdering redcoat.
Yeah. See, I don't get that reference. I've got a red coat. And I've got a terrible gap in my education of history.
that little bit there gained us like 7 or 8 more watchers.
Goodness, mate.
As soon as I said Ewoks, ding, 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 ding.
When we try to talk about film in an intelligent way, we drop from 34 to 9. Then when we start joking about Ewoks winning the Revolutionary War, of course, we gain 10 more.
I was going to say, Ewoks, ding, 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 Jar Jar, ding, 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 ding.
Just in case you thought we were pretentious assholes, Ewoks.
Yeah.
On fire.
On fire.
Yeah.
Do you think they smell like, like you burning human hair?
No, but they do taste like chicken.
Yeah.
I know a great joke about that. Very quick. A chap was in court because he had been caught out in the wilderness and he killed an American bald eagle. Which is obviously illegal in America because of, for natural reasons. Anyway, he basically explained to the court that he was close to death. There was nothing else around. He managed to catch this bald eagle and he did kill it and eat it. And it was just for his own basic human survival. So the judge let him off. And a couple of days later, the judge actually saw the man walking around and he said, listen, he said, with that case, he said, I just want to ask, he said, what does bald eagle taste like? And he said, it's a lot like condor.
It's a lot like the dodo bird.
Sorry, that's a joke I heard many years ago, and it just amused me.
That's a pretty good joke, man.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I give that a 9.
That was a good one.
You can either say that or it's very much like owl.
The spotted owl.
Spotted owl.
So are we coming back to
is there a way that you could tweak that to make it racist though? It would be funnier if you had some racial slurs.
Oh, Sean, I can't.
I think I can, Sean. I think I can. Let me give this a try.
Okay.
Tastes like Malaysian panda.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Tastes like monitor lizard. You might not get that joke, but recently there was a news story where 5 guys in India raped and ate a monitor.
Oh yeah, raped a lizard.
Oh,
to death.
Yeah, I bet his last thoughts just before he died was like, "Thank God, I'm going." With a dick in my ass, but I'm going.
America, the greatest country in the world.
No, India.
It was India.
India.
We don't have any monitor lizards here, or else maybe I don't know. But since there are none, we can safely say that's never happened.
Yeah.
Somebody's just said there. Popcorn mechanic has just said there. It tastes a bit like, surprisingly, like white rhino.
also good.
Yeah.
Apart
from the horn's good, but you got to boil it for a long time.
You've got to eat it with knife and fork made out of ivory.
I always just throw the horns away,
Yeah.
Right. Are we going to get
African
back on track? This is exactly. We had a meeting before this, and this is exactly what we said we were not supposed to do.
Let's talk
but our ratings have gone up, so let's just carry on.
I guess so.
I don't know what else to say about that film.
Yeah, let's talk about the Northman a little bit. If everybody but Eggsy's seen it. Have you seen it, Yoda?
I have not.
Oh. I have.
You said it was good. You said it was the best film you saw until you saw Everything and Everywhere and whatever it's called.
They're 2 different movies, but I mean, The Northman was, again, it was a film. That
is an art house film, even, I would argue. It's that.
Is that on streaming or is it just in theaters?
Yeah, it's on streaming now.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Is it Amazon?
No, but I can send you a link to watch it.
Oh no, I've got.
No, you can't. You can legitimately buy it from Peacock somewhere.
I mean,
yes, I'd like to do that.
A very unethical person could probably find you a link for it.
No, I've got a nice little system. I've got. I can't say. Never mind. Yeah, I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's great.
Shut up! Stop digging the hole.
He's just saying that ironically.
Yeah,
he doesn't mean it. He's going to go to the theater and pay full price for it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to pay.
And buy some
the FBI is pulling up in my driveway.
It's a great movie, though.
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it tonight.
Again, it's the same director as The Witch and Lighthouse.
I've heard some small brains complain that it was like, it's too slow. But I was engaged every second in it. I never felt like the movie was long, even at all.
No, it was brilliantly done. It was, again, it was kind of, I don't want to say an original story because it basically, I mean, ultimately, it's a revenge story, which, has been done before, but it was so brilliantly told. The way it went, the way it panned out and everything else was just, I thoroughly loved it.
It has a hell of a long take in it, too.
Oh, yes. And it's not just a long take. It's a long take where they attack a village. And so it's a very, very complicated scene altogether and stuff. It was, it's definitely worth watching.
Have you seen True Detective season 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the long take in episode 4. It's every bit as complex as that.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
Is it better than Sonic the Hedgehog?
Not the first one, but the second one, yes.
All right, I'll give it a shot. You're a little wavering there. It's a little concerning.
There's no laser sword. There's no laser swords in it.
I know.
Yeah, but again, what can you do? I mean, not everything can.
Are there boobs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm in.
Kidman's. Nicole Kidman's boobs.
There's even a little bit of almost.
No, Tom Cruise is not in the movie.
There's even almost a little bit of incest in it too.
Oh, happy days.
I'm sold, man. Stop selling it, man. You've made the sale.
Naked men fighting at the end with CG willies.
With CG.
What
willies.
CG willies?
They CG'd with willies on, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. We did an article about it on the last movie Outpost.
Yeah, I didn't read it because I didn't want to come across any spoilers.
Oh right.
He didn't want to come across any spoilers. He says
Matt,
with a straight face.
Matt asks why. Matt, how big do you think those willies really are? Because I guarantee the CG is larger.
Yeah.
It's like when they used to airbrush in Playboy. Think along those lines. You know what I'm saying?
It's cold in Iceland. Would you want to be?
Yeah. That's why they had to do it.
No, they were fighting on a volcano. There's no excuse for that.
No, it was a CG volcano.
Fighting on a volcano with their todgers hanging out.
Yeah, it's not like they're slapping each other with them.
They're not sword fighting like we used to do when we were kids.
Cockfighting. Do you mean like we used to do with kids? What kind of upbringing did you have?
I was just saying,
You're right, George. I'm glad we left them over there.
What the fuck kind of childhood did you have, man? Is this a
like
hillbilly thing?
It's just like
it was me and my dad. There was nothing wrong with it.
Oh God!
It was just like we used to do on Epstein's Island.
George is gone.
George
He's
died.
lost it.
You guys didn't have the court make you demonstrate how to do it with those two little dolls.
Show me where the Disney executive touched you.
Where did the Viking touch you?
Again, we've a new class low discussing movies. Well,
I tell you, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't thank God I started this channel with you guys.
It seemed like three experienced movie watchers. Maybe we could start a stream.
It started so well.
I'm going to start a channel, and I want these very urbane, intellectual, deep-thinking fellas to come on and talk to me about.
Well,
seriously, you're gonna kill me. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Myocarditis is kicking in.
I leave no barrel unscraped.
Nobody else would do it with you, is what
That's
you're saying, right?
That's right. Hey, I'm on the bottom of the same barrel as you guys.
If are the best that you can get. My God, man.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch it tonight now.
How come we haven't been invited on, like, the Critical Drinkers
It's a mystery.
live stream?
Are you the guys that always end up talking about knobs? No, that's not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not. That's somebody completely different.
Are you guys playing lightsabers with your dick? Nah,
that's not George Lucas. That is George Lucas.
Yeah. Yes, Mark Hamill has stories. Oh, does he have stories?
Oh, I bet he does.
Charlie Sheen, I bet, has got some sword fighting stories.
What do you expect with a guy with tiger blood?
Yeah, that's true.
Is
he dead yet? Dead yet?
No, apparently AIDS made him stronger.
Guys, we forgot to mention that Vangelis died this week.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
that's right.
After that, you're going to bring up something serious as that.
Well, you wanted to stop laughing, didn't you?
So the Holocaust. Let's talk about that.
Look, that George is really off on one.
Schindler's List is our favorite comedy. The last movie Outpost favorite comedy.
I've told you this before. It's not as funny as the book. Right. So, yeah, Vangelis died this week as well. That's been in the news.
Yep.
But one of the...
I did my tribute. Thank you very much.
You did, yeah. Very good, too.
It was... I mean, he's one of those people that cemented himself into movie history. You know, I think I remember... I'll have to check the details. I'm still slightly dying here, and there are tears in my eyes.
Don't hurt yourself, man. Do you need an ambulance? I'll call one for you.
Yeah,
Vangelis dying's really affected you, mate.
No, you can call me an ambulance because they're free over here. So,
but it takes 5 hours to get to you.
You're an ambulance.
But I'm sure I read that Chariots of Fire was the first movie to have the sound done by electronic music, which is a really odd choice as well, because with Chariots of Fire, you don't think of that as electronic music when you hear it. It's brilliantly done.
I think that, well, I don't know. I mean, it's clearly got a piano in it, whether or not that's I mean, in those days, it'd be pretty tough to make a real piano, but I think all the other stuff behind it is definitely synth.
Yeah, and stuff. And again, it's brilliantly edited because there's a whole sequence, I think, where they're training and somebody's putting down chairs and they do it all to the music and everything else. And it's brilliantly subtle. But I mean, again, he was kind of the extra actor, if you like, in Blade Runner. Because again, absolutely. Blade Runner without that music would have just not been the same.
God, it's amazing too. I was really disappointed that he didn't have a heavier hand in the sequel. I mean, they just barely sampled some of the original theme in it, right? He didn't.
Yeah, they got Zimmer involved, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
You can tell with Hans Zimmer as well. I'm a big Hans Zimmer fan. You can tell heavily influenced by Vangelis.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't do that many film scores. I mean, you think Chariots of Fire and Blade Runner, and I think there's a few others, but it wasn't as many as you might think, which is...
That's funny enough. That's the point. When I looked it up and I thought, oh, like I say, it's not as many as you think, but what he did do was just outstanding. He was a man of obvious quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
The Blade Runner soundtrack. You could listen to the Blade Runner soundtrack on like CD, man, just fine by itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do.
Do you?
I listen to it. Yeah, I listen to it probably every week or at least every fortnight. Because it's good music, you know, to tune out and just get your work done. It's good music just to listen to in the background.
Check this out. He declined an offer to score 2010, the year we made contact. How much more awesome would that movie have been if he had done that? Oh,
man. I wished he'd done that.
Oh, man. What could have been?
I'm going to have to find it, but there is a great sketch by Eggy, you'll know these, Smith and Jones. Jones. They are two British comedians, and they did a sketch once about a guy who wrote music for movies. And I always remember this because it was brilliant. And then this guy's got sort of saying, yeah, I've written many scores. Today I've got Richard Attenborough coming round to talk to me about his new movie. And Griff Rhys-Jones is this guy. Mel Smith comes in as Richard Attenborough and sort of says, have you got the new song worked out or the music worked out for this new movie? And he goes, yes. He goes, I'll just play it for you. And he's at the piano and he starts singing, I was walking down the street the other day, feeling rather randy. Who should I bump into? But me old Mahatma Gandhi. Oh, Gandhi, oh, Gandhi. And Richard Attenborough started going, like, no, this is like Gandhi. And he says, and they cut to another scene. He goes, I've got Francis Ford Coppola coming in today. And so Francis Ford Coppola comes in and he sort of says, so I thought that the new theme song to your movie could be like this. I said have it Monday and I said no have it today. He said have it on Tuesday and I said no have it today. Oh, have your apocalypse now. It was really funny because obviously these sort of movies like Apocalypse Now, that's not kind of the music you would expect to go with. I've got to find that somewhere.
We got it. We got the point.
I don't know. I think every film could do better with a little vaudeville music in the background.
Yeah. Little Randy Newman playing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so, right, are we talking about anything else, or have we come to near the end?
I want to ask you, has anyone seen a film called Ted K?
Yes.
Which is about the Unibomber.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I watched it when it first came out. Yes, I loved it.
The
Industrial Revolutions and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. You want me to quote the whole manifesto?
No.
Okay.
Sean helped write it. I thought it was quite interesting. I didn't know much about the Unabomber. I'd obviously heard of it, but because obviously it was bigger in America.
That's Dr. Krasinski to you.
No, it was the Unabomber.
No. Yeah, you refer to him as Dr. Krasinski. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay.
All right. Let's compromise. We'll go with Dr. Unabomber.
Dr. Bomber.
Don't say Unabomber.
Dr. Bomber, MD.
But yeah, it was a very interesting take, and the way that the story was told was really good.
Not a hit piece. It is not a hit piece.
No,
it's not.
I mean, Kaczynski was a nut for bombing people, but apparently he may have had some points as we get further and further into our technological nonsense. You know?
Funny enough, that's exactly the take I got from it.
Hell world, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
The more he spoke, the more, especially now, I was thinking, he's making some pretty good points here, and he's kind of right in what he says. But like I say, the way he made the points was unfortunate.
Well, I saw there was a show, I think it was on Netflix, with Paul Bettany playing it. Doctor, whatever he's called. Krasinski. You should check it out.
Okay.
Paul Bettany. But my son told me about this Ted K, and I was like, I'll check that out. So that's on my... That's also on my special list of films.
Yep,
yeah,
it's
I'm
good.
Check that out.
I recommend 5 out of 5.
Right,
I'm gonna have to start writing these down. We go through all of these I haven't seen. I'm like, oh, God damn, I got so much to catch up on here.
I have to put them on my watch. Put them on my watch list, and then put them onto my list on IMDb. Otherwise, sometimes I do forget what I watch.
I want to watch that To Live and Die in L.A. after reading the review on the site.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Have you guys not? Have none of you seen that?
I love William Friedkin, and I love The French Connection, and I, just was under my radar. It's not what people talk about, weirdly enough. And I was like, I'd heard of it, and but I probably haven't heard of it since it's been out. And
masterpiece.
And now I'm looking at it going, there's a French Connection guy, crime. How did I not know about this? I gotta get this in my eyeballs. Of course, I went to look at streaming. It's like unavailable everywhere. So, okay.
Well, not everywhere. Not everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
Unavailable everywhere legally.
I can assure you, it's not available everywhere.
I got it on Blu-ray, of course.
I did watch Heat. Again the other day on Sean's recommendation that we mentioned.
Did you?
And do you know what? The first time I watched that, I didn't really rate it, but I watched it when it first came out. Watching it again, I am annoyed at myself because it is a spectacularly good movie.
It's aged well. It's aged well.
Apart from, this is going to sound awful, and also nicely racist, but I kept getting confused between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Racist!
Because both of them were sort of at times.
They look alike.
No. But just they kind of
Italians look alike. Do you? Don't you? Do all Italians look the same? Do you, George?
But all self-important actors do.
But with
Pacino is not as bad as De Niro now. Don't compare him. He's not an asshole like that.
Nah, De Niro's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is a piece of shit.
The movie's aged well, a lot better than the two actors.
Hey.
It is a legit masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it's brilliantly done. I also watched Where Eagle Dare for the first time as well.
That's all right.
It was quite good. I kept thinking that the plan was just basically blow everything up. Because they had this dynamite. It's like, right, blow up the cable car, blow up the bridge, blow up the car, just everything, blow it up.
What's wrong with that plan? Sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, that sounds like an excellent plan.
I could get a lot done if I could do that every day.
Sounds like a certain religion.
And then what I also watched.
Very wrong thing to say, Eggy.
Officially disavow, unofficially.
At least you didn't say, oh, wait a minute, hang on.
Sounds like a real Ted K thing to say.
I also watched, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, easily one of the best movies of the year, Morbius.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you really watch that?
I did really watch it. And
Why? I tried to warn you.
I know, and I just wanted to see if everybody was right, and they were.
You know that's time in your life that you'll never get back, and one day you'll be dead. And you'll be like, I could have like banged the missus or something in the time it took me to watch more.
You could have been watching one of these movies that we talked about.
Yeah, you could have been watching Live and Die in L.A.
That's right.
If it's a choice between watching Morbius or banging the wife, I'd rather watch Morbius.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Wow.
No wonder he relates.
Somebody's just shouting downstairs. Just a second.
You never go full Al Bundy. What the hell?
Poor Mrs. Not George Lucas. She's now taking off that Wookiee outfit.
Somebody.
Zip, fuck you.
Well, somebody said today, actually, I was at work and somebody came in and bought a ladder, and he said, are these things strong? I said, well, I've got one, and the wife stood on it, and it seems to be all right. I also watched April Fool's Day for the first time as well.
I don't like that too much.
It's
a cheat. It's a cheat.
Is that the one? Is that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis way back in the day?
No. This is the one that's like a slasher movie that turns out not to be.
I like the ending.
Oh yeah.
It's a cheat. It's a cheat, man. I don't like that kind of thing.
I also watched. Now this is a really weird one.
Like Twilight, the Breaking Dawn Part 2, where it was all a fucking dream at the end.
Oh, is it?
It was all a vision. Yeah, they're like they have this. It was the first time that fucking movie series at any time got halfway decent where they had just a bang on killer fight. And it turns out, nope, it was all a vision. I I almost stood up in the theater. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm fascinated that you went and saw Twilight.
I had to because I was married to a Twilight junkie. It's not my fault. It was under duress, sir.
We've been talking about everything, everywhere, all at once, and the decisions that you make. Yoda, obviously, there's some bad ones there.
You need to start putting paper cuts in your hand.
No, bullshit. You're married. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well,
my wife don't watch telly.
Eggy, let's hope it was paper cuts and not the buck bug thing.
Given the choice.
No, myself and Yoda were talking about earlier behind me. I've got two cine projectors, both Super 8 and standard cine projectors. I watched, because my dad used to have a copy on 8mm, Visit to a Small Planet with Jerry Lewis, which, as a kid... no, just Jerry Lewis. Lee Lewis? Jerry Lewis. And it was basically about an alien who came to Earth. And as a kid, I used to love it. And my dad used to show it to me, and it was very funny. He used to wiggle his ear and then make his nose go, and things would happen. Watching it again now, it's one of those films I should have left in my memory. We
all have those, don't we?
Yeah.
So those of you still watching, we did a little bit of different. I think it's okay, but I would be very grateful if you would tell me that if everybody's voices and audio matched properly, that we didn't have any audio delays on anybody. If that worked throughout the stream, I would really appreciate some feedback on that.
Well, we can.
George, fuck you. Okay. First.
Guess what's out on Wednesday?
What?
Maverick.
Oh, is it?
Now I am actually gonna get off my fat ass and go to the cinema and watch that.
You know, if first of all, I'm hearing it's awesome. We'll see. But if nothing else, that they filmed it inside real cockpits and they did all this with real jets. I mean, just to get that kind of feeling in the cinema, just to that you can't do that with CG. You just can't.
There was an article on Twitter, and it said that Tom Cruise really wants people to see this in the cinema because it's a cinema experience. And I said I was just going to download it on my phone and then hold that really close to my face.
Yeah. That's what I was getting ready to say. I can't wait to watch it on my phone.
Well, if you get the VR one, and then
Goodness. Yeah. But yeah, so maybe next week then we can talk about that.
I'm not going to go see.
Well,
that.
I think I'm the only one who's going to go and see it,
Yeah. Oh, Yoda is as well.
I'm in. Eggy, you and I can have our own one-offs where we're not talking about people getting their dicks chopped off and things like that.
Oh, look at these!
Look at these two snobs always talking about these wonderful movies where people are eating their own fucking intestines or something.
Anthropophagus, you mean? That's a pretty good movie. Me and George still have the rest of our most controversial films list coming up too. Yeah, we should plug that.
I think this week the film that we're going to be talking about is the classic, The Human Centipede.
Oh,
crowd pleaser. Real
and the great tagline from that is Bagsy at the front.
I am somewhat grateful to that movie because it had one of the best South Park episodes, the iPad Centipede, where if Kyle did not, he just accepted the terms of service on his iPad every time he get an update. He didn't read it. And everybody is like, you didn't read it? What is wrong with you? Like anybody reads these things. And next thing you know, because he accepted the terms of service, he was Steve Jobs put him as part of an iPad Centipede where the iPad was on the front and then he was connected to two other people and he was in the middle and the guy, he's like, do you want me to eat the white pudding or the asparagus? He's like, oh, the white pudding. Oh, it's got a lot of okay, I'll eat the asparagus, and he just shits in his mouth. It's awful.
Not too different from the movie, actually.
No, it's not, but it's much funnier in South Park.
Oh, of course we've seen the movie. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Have you seen it, Yoda? No, I ain't watching that.
I actively avoided that once I saw the trailer. It's like I don't need to watch this.
You guys don't have any fun at all with your
Normie.
If I want to see a woman eating another woman's bum, I'll go on Pornhub.
Yeah, there's much better ways to watch that kind of thing.
It's not Yeah, but this is done in a way that's not enjoyable. That's the point.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it then. You sold it to me.
Yeah.
Well, he's already sold that one.
You sell cars for a living. This might kill you.
Who wants to see women having fun?
They enjoy making sandwiches.
So, you're single, huh, Sean?
What was that?
You're single, huh?
Sometimes, yes.
Occasionally.
Off and on.
I'm in between wives. I'm gonna get killed when I get downstairs.
George
my wife never watches these, so I'm good.
Yeah, no.
My wife just bought me a nice cup of tea. Look at that. Trained her up well.
He knows. He keeps his hand very strong.
Oh, so many jokes which we're not going to do. Yoda, do you want to wrap up, mate?
Oh, so much so. Thank you very much, all of you, for watching. This has been another live stream from lastmovieoutpost.com. We are the cool news now, where you can get all the latest on movies, streaming, and trailers, and news and reviews. We have new stories going up every single day, so please come and visit us. And, of course, visit the YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. We could use all the help we can get. We really do appreciate all the viewers that we had on today. I think it was kind of a new record for us, like 30, 31 users.
34 was our high point.
34 was our high point, so well done, everybody. Appreciate that. And tune in every week. And, of course, we have new videos coming out weekly. George has his How to Make a Film series. I have the weekly news every weekend. Eggy and I have another sequel to the Picard discussion that we had, which is basically us going through more therapy. And
Sean and myself have got more of the exploitation films coming up as well.
That's right, the exploitation films, and I'm sure I'll have another Overlooked in the near future. So lots and lots of content for you to consume and to be a part of. Again, we are trying to be a different type of entertainment news and media company. Yes, one that's fun and honest. So,
and offensive viewers.
that hates women and minorities.
Yeah, ask the black woman that's a part of it. She'll tell you.
She's abused more than anybody, believe
That's
it or not.
Eggy, you have any final words?
No, I'm going to go and watch The Northman and 2 CGI dicks having a fight.
All right. Sean? No, we're bypassing you. God knows what the fuck you'll say.
No. Tune in to watch me and George interview the star of Dash Cam coming up on June 3rd. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good. And George?
Yeah, like I say, Sean set it all up. It was really great, but we had a chance to chat with Annie Hardy, star of Dashcam, Rob Savage's new movie, who's best known for Host. It's mostly edited, actually, so it should be going up sometime this week or early next.
All right, then. So thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you on the next stream.